Welcome to the Director's Garage Live Happy Hour Hangout for a Hump Day. I am your host and resident idiot, Michael. And how are we doing today? It's a Wednesday. We're on time, but we're a little later in the day. And this would be the more like happy hour Los Angeles time. So if you're joining us for Los, you can see I'm, by the way, Audeze, the Audeze episode for the LCD XC dropped today. So you can watch that when we're done streaming if you haven't seen it already, and check that out. Worked real hard on it. Really, there's actually a big mistake in that episode. Like at about two-thirds of the way through, there's a B-roll shot that's like really wonky. It's going all over the place. But it was 3 a.m. when I discovered it, and I wasn't about to recut the show, drop in the video, fix it, and then re-upload it because I had to be at work in 3 hours. So that was the limit of my charity towards my own audience and my own anal retentativeness. ML Jenkins, cheers all. By the way, we are halfway through the week. It is the 4-H Club Happy Hour Hump Day Hangout at the Director's Garage. I had a couple of questions about music in the show as a result of today's episode. And I just want to clear up a few things. All of the music that's in the show comes from a company called Epidemic Sound. And there are several companies like Epidemic Sound out there. I happen to think that Epidemic Sound's music sounds the best. It sounds the most natural to me. It sounds like something that I would actually play on a radio somewhere if I only wanted to hear, They do some vocal stuff, but it's just background music for things like YouTube shows, and you know that the real problem with actual music is copyright, and you can get away on YouTube with playing little snippets of under, I think it's like 8 seconds or less, maybe it's 10 seconds or less or something, but you can't, technically that's illegal too. But the YouTube algorithm takes about that long before it catches it and reports it. So, they have these sniffers that go through and they watch the streams for, computerized stuff. When they recognize the song, like Shazam does, it'll identify the song and then they alert you that you're using copyrighted music, and then all hell breaks loose and they threaten to, throw you in YouTube jail or something. But so I can't play regular music the way I want to play it. Someday it would be really cool if this show got big enough, which it's clearly not there yet. It would be really cool if someday I could license regular music. Back in the day when I worked at WTTW Channel 11 in Chicago, we had a BMI license, an ASCAP BMI license. You'd go to ASCAP and BMI, which are the two publishing agencies, and you would pay them a set amount, and it was probably a rather large amount. I don't know what it was. I was on the editor level back then. I wasn't on the producer level, so I wasn't privy to that negotiation or that discussion, but we could use any cut of popular music we could find because we paid for an ASCAP BMI license annually. And so that was what we used to do back in the day, but you can't do that anymore. And now, they want needle drops, so you're going to have to, if you want to use, I don't know, Hit Me Baby One More Time in your video about hits or whatever, you've got to pay the sync rights and you got to pay the copyright rights. So it's you're getting double whammied on it, and that's just to use the song for this one thing, and anybody can say no to you. So it's a big long labyrinth to get real music and do it the right way, get it licensed, make sure the artist gets paid, all of that. So, but it would be cool if someday this show is big enough where I could just get an ASCAP BMI license and use any music I wanted. That would be the ultimate, But in the meantime, I use Epidemic Sound, you pay them a set fee every month. I pay them $15 or $16 or something like that. And there's a link below, link in the description. If you're, they also do an affiliate thing if you're that interested in licensing your own music. They're really good though, and I like the cuts. I think the cuts sound excellent on their service compared to some of the really synthy stuff that sounds really, you know, just like electronica. It sounds like they use real instruments at Epidemic Sound, and I happen to know that they do. And you can actually, there's some music videos, or there's some videos on YouTube, I think, where you can see them actually making music at Epidemic Sound. They use like real drummers, and they use, you know, it's not all drum machines and shit. Cheers, everybody. We're halfway home. Halfway home. And I know we're late, and we're probably going to have a few less viewers than normal, because I am on it an odd hour, and most everybody's used to me being like 3:30, 4 o'clock, something like that. We're at 5 o'clock. It's a trickier hour because out east now, that makes it 8 o'clock. People are sitting down to dinner and putting the kids to bed and whatever, and it's a little more difficult for us to catch up. So, Hi-Fi Boog, welcome. Really Old Cobb, welcome. And ML Jenkins, I said hello to you earlier. Just cheers, everybody. I hope you had a chance to check out the Audeze LCDXC video. I dropped that this morning. I finished it at 3 in the morning, and there's a big mistake in it. I dropped a shot in it, and it was like the camera's shaking all over the place, and I just didn't go back. Normally what I do when I get done with an episode is I take one last pass at it before I upload, or as I'm uploading, and I'll just watch it straight through. But it was 3 a.m. and I had a 6 a.m. call, so I'm like, I just had to bite the bullet and send it on its way and hope for the best. And when I watched it in playback, yeah, it's bad. So there's one shot in this episode, which, you know, that's one. There are a few mistakes in some of these episodes, but there's not many. So I guess as being one person, having no quality check person beyond myself, I'm pretty happy with what we do around here. But it killed me when I watched it back and I saw the camera going. I'm like, oh no! Then I'm like, we're not going to fix it. That's fine. Okay. ML Jenkins' wife and I decided to sit down to dinner with you going to me. Well, cheers. I mean, we should have champagne. I mean, you know, where's I need like a bossa nova playing. We got to get a couple of candles going in here. You know, let's set the mood, the proper mood for a dinner with friends. My dinner with Andre. My dinner with the resident idiot. Okay, and Mr. Number One here says copyright claims in the DMCA's get out of control sometimes. It's like fair use doesn't exist. Well, it doesn't. Fair use, by the way, is, and I know this because I've just been in broadcasting forever, and this stuff always bites me. It never fails. Like I had to go through it so many times, and fair use is actually a very, very, very narrow sliver of a window to thread. You can get away with it. There are a few situations where you can get away with things. One part that is protected is parody. If you are taking somebody's song and rewriting it, like Weird Al Yankovic is parody. He's taking Beat It and he changed it to Eat It, and it was a mockery and whatever. That's parody, and that's perfectly protected. He actually doesn't have to license the song for that. I don't know if he needs to pay sync rights or if he has to pay for copyright rights because he is using the tune, but that is a situation. Parody is one situation where you can get away with using somebody else's copyright. But in 99% of the cases, fair use is inappropriately applied. And that's just the extent, the intent, and this is me talking to lawyers for years and years and years. The intent of fair use is basically if you are doing a student presentation and you're going to present it to your class, that is a situation where you can make a fair use argument and not get dinged. Most people just use stuff and apologize later. But in most situations, that there are very narrow situations where you can fair use anything. And on my show, what you'll see is, number one, I never drop music because I don't even want to take the chance that one of the sniffing algorithms catches me dropping a song, and it's not worth it. It's just, as much as I would love to play, you know, Grateful Dead tunes and Pink Floyd and then jump over to some of the jazz greats, Miles and Thelonious and all the, you know, and just jam that. It's not worth it. It's just, for me, it's not worth it. And if somebody else is probably fine. But I know that there's like a School of Rock type show where they break down songs from the past, and that's what it is. If you'll notice, they only play the songs in little 5-second snippets, and then boom, they're out. And that's how they get away with it. They're just beating the algorithm. But if anybody ever really wanted to press them, they could demonetize their channel. And then the money would go to the bands who own the copyright. That's the way it works. So that's why I have Epidemic Sound, because it is realistic sounding music that I think makes the show flow. And some people say, well, gee, you put your music so loud in your episodes. And I'm like, well, yeah. One reason, well, I think when I'm talking normally like I am now, it's fairly under control. It's not like a crazy, I don't think I have crazy levels going on. But when I do the when I do the first impressions, the sound impressions section, when I'm playing stuff through the headphone and I'm listening to it, that bleed through will get you busted. So I turn the music up high to cover the sound coming out of the headphones. Fortunately, on the LCD XC, there was almost nothing, but even then, I like the dramatic of it. I did a couple of episodes where I was doing amp reviews, and instead of putting in the big dramatic, pardon me, burp, Coca-Cola, Coke, call me. Daddy needs a sponsorship deal for 3 pictures. I did put there was an amp episode that I did a while back, where a couple of them actually, where I was reviewing an amp and going over features on an amplifier, and instead of using the big dramatic music, I used jazz on that one, and I actually liked the way it worked. I thought it played very well. But I like the format of the sound impression section, so I don't know. I always reserve the right to redo the show in any way if I get the bug or the itch. A lot of times I'm just so under the gun. Like last night, I had to finish the episode because I didn't want to get to Thursday and not have an episode out. And that's just because then the next production cycle goes, I'm going to be starting on a Friday to prep the next episode, and the next episode will again be later in the week, and my earlier episodes in the week do better. When I release on a Monday, well, when I release on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I get much better viewers than if I release on a Friday or a Saturday. Those are sort of not as good unless it's something that's really hot and big. Like if I release the LCD5 review, y'all will watch it because everybody likes the LCD5 reviews. And hopefully everybody liked the XC review. I hope this episode, I haven't had a chance to look. I've been out running all day. I came right from an oil change. Came home, turned on the cameras, and started streaming. It was that tight. I was like, I better hurry, get home, because y'all are expecting me, and I don't want to be late. That's the one thing I don't like to do. I don't ever like to be late. Cheers, everybody. Hump Day, Hangout. What are you guys listening to? What have you heard lately? What's exciting you? I have some stuff coming up. I've got... Oh, I think Mr. Director just got home because my watch just alerted me. There's motion at the front door. I got this place wired. Don't even think about it. I have something coming, a source coming that's going to be pretty insane. I think that's going to be an epic episode, and that's coming probably That might be 2 weeks away, maybe. So I'm super excited about that. Audio 46 has already sent me the next headphone, the blind what's in the box. I have no idea what it is. I just saw that they shipped something, so I'm like, maybe that's good. And then, ML Jenkins says he liked the new segment a lot. Oh yeah, I did the random record review. I told you I was going to do that, and I debuted it today. Wish I would have gone into some extra detail about maybe 2 songs we should absolutely look at. Might jam up your video lengths. Yeah, well, that's always the problem on my shows because they're so damn long. I mean, guys, I'm going to give you a blanket. I'm sorry. I really am. I really try. I know this show needs to be at about 15 minutes. I know that's really where it needs to be. I just can't control it's like I get going and I get on a topic and I don't want to shortchange it. And then I turn around and it's 24 minutes again. It's like I can't break this 24-minute cycle. And it's really a pain because doing 10 extra minutes of show, especially my show, where I've got tons of coverage and B-roll and, all of my photos, I don't steal photos. Like all of the photos in the piece are either my own photos or they're Creative Commons. But Creative Commons means you gotta put the licensing info, like the stuff below the video isn't just like, hey, buy this and here's my link to, click on this and, I get an affiliate hit, although I do and you can. But a lot of that stuff is like legal stuff. There's stuff down there for when I put the Top Gun trailer up. Well, I'm going to credit that it's Paramount Pictures. It's coming out on the 27th because the trailer is there for public consumption. And the more people who retweet it and put it out there, that's what it's out there for. It's to get people to go watch the movie. So I don't have any problem. I don't use the sound on it because there is real music in it. There's a Lady Gaga song, all that. So I don't put sound with it. However, I do use the visuals because the visuals are there for us to use. So I put it in there, but I make sure I plug it and send it back, send people to Paramount Pictures website, send people to tell people when the movie comes out. And that way, I mean, if Paramount for some reason caught my show, which everybody should, if somebody caught that I put that up there, they would see that I'm putting a logo up for the show. I'm telling viewers when it is out. It's free publicity for them, as opposed to me just going, hey, I'm stealing this because it's really cool footage of Tom Cruise in a plane. No, I'm like actually promoting. I take the time to promote it and give you a click through to a website where you can learn more about the movie and all that stuff. So I always try to do that with all of the music videos. Like even when I dropped the Sgt. Pepper's movie, I link back to Amazon. If you want to rent the movie or buy the movie, there's where you can go. And all of that stuff, I try to do it the right way. And YouTube, I know YouTube approves of what I'm doing because of when I got demonetized and I had to go through that whole thing. So I explained to them exactly how I produce my shows and everything, and they came back and said, yeah, we were wrong, we'll reinstate your monetization, you're good to go what you're doing. So that's how I know that I'm in the right lane on this. Anyway, Hi-Fi Boo got his LCD2s. Ooh. I've never had an LCD2. I listened to them back in the day, back when really the LCD2 and what is it, the HD 800 were the two, like, the shit headphones, those are the ones that everybody was like, whoa. They had just, I think both of them were right over $1,000, and I think the HD 800 was at about at 1,600 at the time, and everybody's like, whoa, that's so expensive. Now it's like, that's it. So funny. But the LCD, yeah, great. I've heard them back in the day and it wasn't even that was back when it was the audio show, THE audio show down in Orange County. Now, of course, as we have Can Jam. Cheers, everybody. Wednesday. Mrs. Director came in. There she is. Hi-Fi Boog. Yeah, watch the video. I had a good time doing it. It was just kind of a little bit of a rush job to get it over the finish line, and there is the one mistake in it. It's like, it's an Easter egg, right? I put it there on purpose. I do all sorts of stuff on the shows just to see if people notice. I had the box in the background for a few episodes, live streams or whatever. Nobody said a word that there was, hey, you know, Michael, there's a box back there. What's that box about? And it was this headphone. It was the Audeze LCD-XC. I just hadn't opened it yet. Like these, though. I like these. They're... Oh, we got some good music going right now, too. God, I feel like we should be dancing. It's like slow dancing. A cigarette. Too much fun. So we've got Hi-Fi Boog is going to be on his LCD2s. What's everybody listening to? I mean, obviously I'm listening to a lot of these. I'm also listening to this headphone, the R9 from Hifiman, because this is the subject of the next episode. And then I think we're going to have the detour for the new Source thing that's coming in, that I'm going to drop on you guys, which I can't wait for. This is the thing that's coming is something that I sent out, like I started working on in December. January, February, March, April, May. 5 months ago. So it's been a 5-month wait to get to what's coming. So I'm a little excited about it. I gotta be honest. So, day in the life of Michael. Oh my God, you guys would be bored to tears. You'd be like, because half of my day, you know, a lot of my typical days are spent right here at this desk, and it's writing for Entertainment Tonight. I'll write story after story after story, and then in between that time, like when I take a lunch, I might watch a YouTube video or something, or I'll check out the news, and then check Twitter and Facebook real quick or something, or emails, and then I'm right back to writing. And then if I have a little bit of extra time and I'm downtime, I flip over and I start editing, and I work on the big show. So it's not all that glamorous. And then every once in a while, I get to go and do something really off the wall cool. And that makes all the other stuff that I do on the day-to-day level way worth it. Fantastic. Maybe the new stacks. I will tell you this. I do not have the new stacks. I have been trying to figure out a way to get a new stacks in here. Nobody's got a discount on them. Nobody's got... I've only seen like 1 or 2 come up on the used market, and they were astronomically priced. And they're just out of my league right now, and I don't have... with all the other high-end headphones I have in here, it's not the new stacks. I can promise you that. It's a Source. It's on the Source side, not the headphone side. So very excited to show that off. That's coming soon. That's my tease for today. R9, yeah. The R9 interests me because of the price. It's, you know, it's $600. This is right, or $750 if you get this guy, which is the Bluetooth, right? Goes in there. And I love the soundstage on these, and I love the bass response on these. I just think that the build is, like, cups are gorgeous, and I know that people say, hey, well, you know, the shape. I mean, they're lightweight, and they say, oh, the shape makes it look like you've got, you know, whatever, Mr. Spock. Take the con. But they're not. I think that these are classic Sony shapes. This is that Sony, whatever it was, whatever, from the 1990s. And the reason that I think they adopted this headphone or the shape of this headphone at Hifiman, is what it did to the soundstage. It does amazing things with the soundstage, and if you've got a good driver in there, you're going to keep your image intact too. And the imaging and the soundstage on this are exceptional. So I can't wait to start sorting this. I wrote some little notes, but I haven't had a lot of time this week to listen at all. So we're getting to it where I'm going to be writing the episode in the next couple of days, and then shooting, and hopefully then this episode comes out. And then I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to back it up with the review of this right away. I want some time with this headphone before I do the formal review. So I'm probably going to do something else. I don't know what. Maybe the big thing will get here in the meantime after I get this episode out, or I could open the new Audio 46 Blind What's in the Box, and the Blind What's in the Box episode. Sorry, I was closing the back door because the plane's going overhead. I'm in the Burbank flight path today, and that's annoying. But I want to get I forgot what I was going to say. I just totally spaced. 3 hours of sleep, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it does to you. So let me go through the chat here real quick and catch up because I probably missed some things. So the random record review, that's in the debut, the very first random record reviews in today's episode. I was like, please pick something interesting. Because I was just reaching back. And I'm like, please just make it something interesting. Don't make it like, I don't know, like even like, don't make it like Pepper. Like, I mean, I can tell a good story about Pepper, I suppose. Maybe that's a bad example, but I'm like, don't make it like an album that's like, But it was great. It's a great. It wound up being Derek and the Dominoes, and I had a lot to say about that. But I didn't. When I'm telling, and I should finish this story, some extra detail. I'm telling my thought behind Random Record Review is just to like pull the album out, tell you what I know about the record, and then tell you the story of how I kind of acquired it, or something of that personal nature, like where did I, why did I buy it, maybe, or where did it come from, something interesting in that regard. I didn't realize until after I had finished. And I went back and I was piecing it all together, and I just looked up because I was trying to find the copyright information and pulling the album cover for the graphics and all that. I didn't realize that I found out that the concert was actually recorded, although the album was released in 1973, the concert itself was recorded in October of 1970. So Duane Allman was alive. He just wasn't at that concert. And that may have been before they all got together and recorded the album, for all I know. I don't really know. I know why Derek and the Dominoes, why it was Derek and the Dominoes and not like some other thing. Eric had just gotten out of like 3 or 4 super groups in a row. He played with the Yardbirds, and he played with Blind Faith. He did these major, huge deals, and he was looking to kind of tone it down and go a little more incognito. So Derek and the Dominoes is what they came up with. So it's kind of cool. And he was also in the throes of a heroin addiction. Small detail. And the album, for those of you who didn't see the episode today, it's I did my first random record review, and it was a Derek and the Dominoes album called, there's Holly. Holly, come on in, buddy. Be like, please open the door. Holly had a little accident yesterday. Hey, mister. He got into a sticker bush. And I don't know if he was trying to escape an attack, or if he freaked out and ran that way and then was very sorry he ran that way. But he came home he looked like a pincushion. So I spent yesterday kind of combing his stickers out of his fur, but he's a little bit, he's half wild. So he didn't care for that very much, but at the same time he was miserable, and he wound up staying in all day yesterday. It was very unlike Holly. Holly likes to be in and out and running around. So, but Derek and the Dominoes, getting back on topic though, Derek and the Dominoes in Concert was the album that I reviewed in the random record review. That's what I pulled off the shelf. And that's a live album of Derek and the Dominoes with Gordon, Whitlock, and Clapton in the lineup. But Duane Allman is not on the record. And there, you know, oh, there's also some, and then there's some great, like, Bonnie from Delaney and Bonnie is on the record, and so is Leon Russell. That's like, oh man. But I noticed after the fact that I had the date, I said that it was released in 1973, and I assumed that it was recorded sometime like 72 or something, or 71, or who knows. But it was back in 1970, back when they were making Layla, or about to make Layla, that they went and did this live set at Fillmore East. And they also were on at the same time, and where I got the video of them from, they were on the Johnny Cash show. And you can actually hear a great version of It's Too Late on YouTube. Google Derek and the Dominoes, It's Too Late, Johnny Cash, in your YouTube browser, and you'll find the performance. And it's, you know, and to see Whitlock singing, you always see Clapton singing, you know, whatever, but to see that other voice and that put a face on it, and see, because, you know, that band was broken up way before I was like able to even, you know, I just knew their music back then. So I didn't have a conscious, you know, the Beatles, I knew the band, you know, and then there was the, you know, they were part of my youth, but this was different. So I never had, and there were Beatles movies, and Beatles were everywhere, and but I never saw Derek and the Dominoes play live. You know, I would have never had the occasion. There's not even live footage of them anywhere. They didn't record a video or film of Derek and the Dominoes together playing. But it's a live album. There's some recordings out there, so that's what's really cool. And this was one of them that was released. And I gotta do, I'm definitely going to do at some point a feature on Robert Stigwood, because he's another of these really interesting characters in music history, in rock history, in modern music. He's got one of these paths, like Lou Adler. When I did the Lou Adler thing a couple episodes back, and like, you know, he starts out doing one thing. That was another one where I was like, I sort of riffed on that story, and then I realized after that I had like left out a major part of the story, which was Herb Alpert. Let's pin in that. Getting all off subject today, but Stigwood, when I was doing the research on this, on today's Random Record Review after the fact, when I went back and I had a chance to look at this stuff, and I'm, you know, I knew that I knew that RSO Records was Robert Stigwood organization. A lot of people don't realize that. And I knew that Stigwood was the guy behind the Bee Gees, and I knew that Stigwood was also the guy who produced that awful Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band musical movie with Steve Martin and all of that. And Aerosmith was in it. So that's what I knew. And then, and doing my research afterwards, as I'm fact checking, pulling all this stuff together and making sure I'm not wrong, because I don't want to put anything out there that's wrong, I realized that, oh, he's a much bigger deal. And there's a really cool story to tell about Robert Stigwood and how he got RSO. And how RSO came to be, RSO Records. Because RSO, what I remember of RSO was that it had the little cow piggy thing, you know, logo, and they were Bee Gees because one of my very first singles I ever had was Jive Talkin'. And Jive Talkin' was on RSO, and, you know, I just didn't think, I just thought it was RSO. It's the pig thing, you know, whatever. And so that's my, I don't have a lot on him. And then as I started going back and looking at that story, I got to tell that story. And then when I was doing the Lou Adler story, I mentioned Herb Alpert in the beginning because they were partners, and they must have had a falling out or something major, because they both split and they really went their own separate ways in a major way. And Adler started working towards his own label, and Alpert went and started A&M Records, and I didn't know this because I always forget the other guy, but A&M stands for Alpert and A&M Records, Alpert and Jerry Moss, Alpert and Moss. And Jerry Moss, I think, was a recording dude, too. I think he did. I might be wrong. But anyway, I'm thinking of somebody else, I think. Yeah, anyway. A&M Records. And so A&M Records was a huge label. Like, you know, that was a big deal. Dunhill, which was Lou Adler's label, that went to that was a big label that ABC bought, and I remember Dunhill as a label, but A&M was mega. That was a massive. They had everybody. They had Styx, they had Captain and Tennille, they had like all the pop groups from the 70s were A&M Records. That's Alpert and Moss, Herb Alpert. The guy, the Tijuana brass trumpeter dude, also was a major deal in the record industry, and the things that I never pieced together. So I got to do a Herb Alpert, I think, at some point too. Back on topic. I kind of went down a rat hole there. We probably have no viewers now. Have I been using my 300B tubes in my Woo amp lately? Not in the last 2 weeks or so. I was using them. I'd gone back and started doing some listening with the Focal Utopia, and that's a great headphone for the Woo WA5LE. I have not listened to these on the Woo WA5LE. I don't know if it's an ideal match or not, but it might be worth checking out. Why not? I love a good tube. I love a good tube, and those are the best tubes I think you can get. Then maybe not the best tube amp, pardon, but and I think the WA33 is probably the best. Well, it's in the very short list of best tube amps in the world, I would think. There are some. There might be one or two better or competing, but I'll call the WA5LE a close second and live with it. Daniel Foster says he enjoys John Fiddler's music. He was in Medicine Head and Mott the Hoople, Box of Frogs. Now there's a band. Box of Frogs. Yeah, I love Mott the Hoople too, but Box of Frogs, it was one of those like ridiculously gifted 80s concoctions of cast-offs from the Yardbirds, and what a special Chris Straja, all of them, fantastic project. And if you get their debut album, I think they had 2 records. Second one didn't do as well. First one was major. If you get a chance to listen to Box of Frogs, listen to that tonight. You're gonna be like, this is good. It's one of those records like you listen to and it's like, this has got like grit, it's got balls, it's like these guys know how to play and they know how to write music, and it's like a ride. It's so awesome. What a great album Box of Frogs is. I've got it. It's over there. It's in my Guitar Hero section of the Director's Garage record library. I don't know. I just made that up now. Mr. Number One here. Oh, by the way, I got to finish that off. Daniel Foster says he was the house sound engineer and regular performer at Memphis Blues and Barbecue Restaurant in Mesa, Arizona. Well, Memphis Blues and Memphis Barbecue are all right by me, so Mesa's got something really good. Mr. Number One here said he's heard about the Hifiman EF1000 They say it's the perfect match for the Susvara. Oh, that's their new amp. Yeah. The hamster didn't quite go around the wheel at first there, but then it did. And I'm like, got it. So yes, yeah, the EF1000 and the Susvara, perfect match. The price, though, damn. I haven't seen what the Mr. Number One here. What is the price on the EF1000? I don't know that I've looked it up. I saw it, looked pretty cool, and they're claiming it's like the bee's knees of that, but of amps for the Susvara. But I still got to get my hands on a Bakun 13R. That's an amp that I very much need to get in here at some, just to hear it. I don't know, even if I can't buy it, I want to hear it with the Susvara and put my, you know, people get like range anxiety in their electric cars. I get like amp anxiety. Like, is this amp giving me the best sound possible for this insanely expensive, too expensive headphone? I get amp anxiety. I know that this new Ferrum stack that I've been raving about for weeks is very, very good, and it doesn't give me any range anxiety regarding, I'm just going to steal the term, range anxiety with the Abyss 1266 TC. I do have some range anxiety with the Susvara. I don't think that it's pushing the Susvara to its ultimate state. I think the Bakun is probably the closest to that. Really want to get a Bakun. So, Daniel Foster says, Herb Alpert treated his musicians very well with equal royalties. And I would expect that because Herb himself was a musician. And he probably, more times than he would care to know or remember, would have... now we got a helicopter. They're coming for me. Band on the run. Being a band member, yeah, he's gonna. Doesn't surprise me that he would treat a fellow band member well. John Fiddler was a close friend. Daniel, I'll have to check it out. I'm not familiar with John Fiddler's music. He was in Medicine Head. I'm not, at least not his solo music, but Box of Frogs I know, and Mott the Hoople I know very well. All the Young Dudes. Song written by David Bowie. Handed it off to him. What a great song, too. Bowie could do everything. Bowie was like, oh, what an amazing dude. The deeper you dig into Bowie was sort of the prince of his era. I mean, just really brilliant. Really brilliant. Can't play guitar like Prince does, but just a brilliant songwriter, everything. Mr. Number One here says 15,000. What? What the? $18,000 with the Susvara. Oh, so they give you a nice little price break of $3,000 if you buy it with the Susvara. What? This is good enough to actually let's go over to the laptop from hell. We're gonna go look this up. Let's do it live. We'll do it live. All right. Director's Garage music playing well. Everybody enjoying the music? What's playing now? I'm gonna put the headphones on for a second. Oh, yeah. Swing, baby. Hifiman, what are you doing? Hifiman. Okay, so, wow, is my internet slow right now? Should I get out and push? If you saw my internet bill and saw what I paid for internet, you'd be like, dude, you cray. Where's EF1000? Show me EF1000! Products. Reference. It's got to be reference at 18 grand, I would think. Ah, what are they thinking? Okay, there's the dot. No, I didn't say portable players. I said clicked on reference. You guys are high. More reference. Yeah. Took me to... Oh, I see. Scroll dummy. It's not even in here. What? Well, headphones.com is doing good for headphones.com. And by the way, if you were in the market for the $18,000 EF 1000 hybrid tube headphone amplifier, contact. I'll set you up with the best affiliate link you've ever seen. I had to do that. I'm sorry. Hey, let's do the plugs. Everybody like and subscribe to the live stream. I hope you guys are enjoying the happy hour hump day hangout here at the Director's Garage, the 4-H Club. And cheers, everybody. We are halfway through the week. I'm going to do a little reset here because we're 45 minutes in. What's everybody drinking? Sign in the chat. Let me know, chat. And yeah, welcome. We do this every week. We do this, try to do this every Wednesday. Usually it's at 3:30 in the afternoon. Today it pushed later because I don't even know if I want to tell you what I was doing because it's kind of like it's nothing you would ever care about. But I was at a high tea. I was shooting today, and I was shooting a tea at a very famous celebrity's house. It's like stupid. Like, why am I here? It's very girly, very like a lot of ladies in proper dresses and the whole thing. It's like it's not my cup of tea, as it were. But I had to do it. Sometimes you get sometimes you get the deck of the Midway, and sometimes you get soft and frilly. But you man up and you tell the story, kids. That's what you do. Yeah, that's... we got just plain Diet Coke. We got water. We got a lot of teetotalers today, like me. I got to write a full report when I get done with this of that horrible tea party. It wasn't a horrible tea party. It was very lovely and very expensive, but not for me. Really aiming for that esoteric price. Well, hasn't Hifiman had a history of doing that? Sennheiser probably priced the HE1 up there because they realized about 3 people are going to buy the damn thing. You're going to be able to afford to buy the damn thing. So they figured if they put it up high enough, they won't get that many orders. They won't have to turn over that many versions of it. Hifiman just likes putting up an expensive price every now and then, I think. Because when it comes down to it, I had the HE1000 V2, which was a phenomenal headphone in every single way. And they came out with the Susvara that went right over it, which besides pissing me off because I bought it. I didn't even buy that headphone. I think I got it free from Hifiman. They did me a trade with my V1s, which was fortunate. But then they came out with the Susvara at $6,000, and like you're just like, oh, that's just obscene. Like, how do you get from 2,500 to 6,000 in one jump? Like, is there really? Like, it's got the same exoskeleton. Like, it just cups round instead of oblong. Got the same slats. Maybe a little thinner membrane. Stealth magnets. When the HE1000 didn't have, V2 did not have stealth magnets. But I'm like, do you put $3,000? Like, really, $3,500 better? I think not. That's just the bitter person, because we want to have the latest thing and we want it to be the greatest for as long as possible. And goodbye, Mrs. Director. She's going to go off to dance which I would do, but then you guys would really turn off the show. Don't make me break out the lawnmower. Yeah, she does dancing in the park every Wednesday. Lovely. So you get very esoteric presents. Like, oh, that's insane. That is insane. $18,000. Good God. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? Yeah, so I think, yeah, the Susvaras are, if there's a headphone that's overdue for a refresh, that's certainly on the short list. I think the Utopia is on the very short list for something that's due for a revision. But honestly, like, I think if Vocal's like, why would we do that? We built the best headphone we know how to make. I mean, maybe there's some new technologies they could play with them, but, you know, how about, and how about that? You know, it's a 5-year-old headphone still being talked about in the short list of the best headphones in the world. That don't happen that often. Nephilim81. How you doing, buddy? Welcome. Hi, Michael. Finally, glad to finally catch me here. Love the police shirt. Yeah, it's police. Right? Yeah, it's funny because this winds up in short rotation because it winds up on the top of the stack. And sometimes I just like, and especially today, like I literally walked in here and I'm just grabbing stuff because I had a button-down shirt on, and y'all don't want to see me in a button-down for 2 hours. I think a t-shirt is more this show's speed. So I did, I just grabbed the shirt that's on top of the pile, which happened to be the police because it gets worn the most, you know. And I have a couple of t-shirts that are like the Led Zeppelin shirt that's now got a big hole under the arm. I constantly grab that shirt. It's on the short. It fits me. It's comfortable. I like it. I just grab it because it's on top of the pile. And this is another one. It's like, it's comfortable. It fits me. And I happen to like all the bands. I like all the bands. All of them. Love the police shirts. And speaking of which, he picked up the 2003 SACD of Zenyan Mandana. Needless to say, drool-worthy sounds. You know, cheers to us. Cheers to Wednesday. Yes, of course. Everybody here, cheers to yourself for making it this far. We're so close and yet so far. SACDs, never got into it. You would think somebody who is a format whore like myself, and I've been tempted a couple of times. I just never got the player for whatever reason. Like something else came up and I didn't buy the player. And then it became like, well, the files now are outperforming the SACDs. Like if you just buy the file from HD Tracks and one of these super high-end files really outperforms an SACD. Outperforms pretty much anything. But yeah, I never got into the SACD of it all. And I don't know, I just, like the stars didn't align. And me being somebody who has every format of everything, you would think that would be something that I would have latched onto and jumped at. And I just, for whatever reason, like the stars never quite came into alignment. Like the right deal was there when I was looking to do exactly just that. I even have somewhere up here, I have a Brothers in Arms SACD that I bought by accident. And like most things in my world, I'm just too tired, too lazy, or not enough time to box it up and send it back. So I just wound up keeping it. And I'm like, well, maybe someday I'll get one of those players. And now I'm ahead of the curve. Too much fun. We are really foolish folks. But, I keep going back to that. I keep seeing this Memphis blues and barbecue, and I'm thinking, man, I could use some barbecue in my life right about now. I love barbecue. That's the slice. That's the stuff worth living for. Barbecue. ZZ Top comes to mind. When I think about barbecue, I think of ZZ Top. Texas barbecue. You know, just the best. Just the best. Gritty, you know. Good stuff. Good stuff. What else can I tell you guys? So coming up, we're going to have the unveiling of this new device, the thing that I'm getting in. I just don't want to give it away because it's going to be such a great episode. I'm so excited for it. And then I've got a new Blind What's in the Box coming from Audio 46. That's in the hopper. That's on the way. I know it'll be here, I think, tomorrow. And then we're also going to be doing sound checks. The biggest thing that's up next, as I said, was the sound check of the HAR9, and then just doing a recap for people who are just getting here. And the Audeze LCDX-C will be in the future, a little further away. I do want to spend some time with this headphone and really, get to know it. Introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. Sorry. Rolling Stones. Too much Rolling Stones. Ryan Dietz. Cheers to you, Ryan, for being down with my barbecue suggestion. And one of the things I did in San Diego was I went to Kansas City Barbecue. Anybody tell me the significance of Kansas City Barbecue in San Diego? Come on, folks. Who's got it? Ding, ding, ding. I can't sing it because it's gonna. I'll get dinged. Kansas City Barbecue in San Diego. Anybody know the significance of that? Wow, with the delay, this probably isn't too fair. We'll see if anybody comes up with it in chat. That's where Top Gun was filmed, and it's where the scene where Anthony Edwards is playing piano and Meg Ryan, take me to bed or lose me forever. Show me the way home, honey. That was shot in Kansas City Barbecue in San Diego. It's also known as the Top Gun Bar, and they have excellent barbecue. Their rib tips are amazing, and I love a good rib tip. Steven Get is refilling his martini. Dude, don't rub it in our faces. Don't pull that, man. Don't pull that. We'll come and we'll find you. And what? Oh my God. My wife sent me a story, by the way, that said, passenger with no flying experience lands plane in Florida after pilot becomes incapacitated. That's my secret wish. Like, my secret dream is that someday I'm on an airliner and the shit hits the fan and there's nobody to land the plane. Because I would do it. I have flown more hours in flight simulators and I understand avionics, and I've done the train. I was going for my pilot's license. I want to be the guy that they go land the plane, because I would do it. I know it. Everybody's like, stay off of DeLazar's flight. Stay off the idiot's flight. But I could do it. Oh my God, Daniel Foster worked at Kansas City Barbecue in Kansas City. Wrong city though, man. Wrong city. You could have known Tom Cruise. They've got the cutouts there, like you can go there and put your head in Tom Cruise's head, and you can have your girl put her face in Kelly McGillis's. Yeah, it's very funny. Top Gun though, it's all coming back to planes. Talking about landing planes and flying and Kansas City, going to Kansas City, get Kansas City Barbecue. Nephilim says, being Canadian, he fails at the barbecue trivia. Yeah, that is kind of an American thing. Big, huge hog on a spit and a bunch of barbecue sauce. You don't see that every day. You might be better off for it. I don't know. But I love a good barbecue. Love a good barbecue. God, it's good stuff. And we went in Chicago. My buddy and I, my best friend, would go in hunt of the best barbecue in Chicago. And it took us to some awfully scary places. Bo Diddley's barbecue on the south side of Chicago was so scary, we actually just kept driving. We drove by it. We were going to park the car, go out, get ourselves a big thing of barbecue, take it home, whatever. And it was too scary. It was like, you may walk into Bo Diddley's, but you'll never go out. And you ain't got Diddley. So, yeah, that's the And then but the best one was this place in Chicago called King B Barbecue. It was out on Austin, I think it was on Austin Avenue, and it was under the L track. So you'd park, and out in the suburbs, the L extends all the way out to the west side, or the south side, south and west, and you pull up, and it's you walk in, and there's huge, massive, fat guys over a barbecue pit, and they're all wearing white coats, and then there's plexiglass all the way down. You cannot. So you get in, and it's kind of a little bit like the Soup Nazi episode. You kind of walk up there, and yes, what's your order? And then be like, can I get some rib tips and a slab and blah blah blah? And you got to get the coleslaw, because you always got to get the coleslaw. The coleslaw is maybe the most important part in some ways. Isn't it? So you got to get the coleslaw, and there's this made out of the plexiglass, the 3-inch thick plexiglass, is a turntable thing, like a Lazy Susan, but it's got dividers in it. So you put your money in the Lazy Susan, which is kind of like a revolving door on a hotel, and you turn the thing around, and the money goes around to the other side of the plexiglass, and he takes the money, and then you stand there while other people look at you like, you two white boys should not be in this neighborhood. And you're like, we don't care. We're bad. We want the barbecue, man. Give us the cue. And then they put the big back in the little turntable thing, and you grab it, and you're like, oh, it's the best. And they appreciate that we took lives into our own hands for the sake of good barbecue. Yeah, the dinner plan, right. I don't know what the dinner plan is, but it suddenly I'm going to be pulling out the Mr. Teague's. I like the Mr. Teague's Touch O Heat is my favorite barbecue sauce for home. I don't know what you guys use, but Touch of Heat from Mr. Teague's is my favorite home barbecue sauce from the store. Yeah, love to see me as a pilot. I could wear the headphones all day. True that. But we still got some good music playing, guys. So good. Such a relaxed, chill hour. Nothing means nothing. We're just having fun. Okay, so let's see. A big in New England too. Yeah, of course. My in-laws, my brother-in-law is from New England. In England. Oh, like England. Like the place I would like to live. England. I love England. Every time I go there, I feel like it's the place it's my home away from home. I go there, I shoot there a ton. I'm always shooting there. Stayed there for weeks and months at a time sometimes, and I just it fascinates me. I love everything about England. Fun place. Great food, good beer, great pubs. People are great. Love the people. Really great. But I haven't had the barbecue in England, and they have great Indian food. The only problem is I hate Indian food. I really do. I don't like curry. Can't get it in me. Mr. Number One here. Oh, that's Daniel Foster. He had a rack of ribs when he got home from a visit from Venice Beach yesterday. Cheers, brother. Cheers, brother. Mr. Number One is now eating his arm. Barbecue sauce. JTB is warning me to make sure that Harrison Ford isn't my plane pilot. Yeah, he's got a little problem with, landing on the taxiway. Oops. Huh? Anybody been to Calico's in St. Louis? No, I have not. I've been to St. Louis a bunch of times. I don't know if I've actually done barbecue in St. Louis. I must have. I mean, I can't imagine all my times in St. Louis over the years. going to see the Blues play. I went to Carbondale, Illinois, which is, you're way closer to St. Louis than you are to Chicago. So, if you're going to excursion to a big city, you're going to go to St. Louis. Nephilim 81. Fat guys and plexiglass. I'm in for a pulled pork sandwich. Yeah, can't get enough. And I'm, give me any sandwich. I'm a sandwich dude. I live off of sandwiches, folks. Mr. Number One here, barbecue illiterate. He just knows when it tastes good. Yes, well, we've got problems. We all have problems. Nephilim 81, back on topic, says, Michael, what do you think of the Daplets? Basically, it's a huge tablet like a DAP. Oh, like a Fios Concube, a DX300 Max. So it's like an iPad DAP player. I don't know. I've never owned one. I like these guys. I think these are, this is perfect for me. And I don't want to see them go bigger than this, because I think when they get bigger than this, it starts to become too much, Calico's is super famous. I will definitely check that out. I have friends in St. Louis, by the way. Bunch of friends. Bunch of people I went to college with. Daniel Foster's has not been to Calico's, but he did run over half a side of beef driving there once. He ran over half a side of beef. It had fallen out of the meat truck. It threw the steering way out of alignment. A half a side of beef will do that to your car. The key to making, see, now we're getting into it. We just, we were circling the rat hole. JTB just took us down into the rat hole. Here it comes. The key to making your own fall off the bone barbecue ribs at home is slow cooking them in the oven and removing the membrane off of them. Now, slow cooking is always the way to go, period. When you start fast cooking anything, it's going to get tough in a hurry. It's always the mistake. So we're talking the right thing here. He's definitely got the idea right. You want to go slow, especially with your meats. You got to take your time with that shit. You don't want to just drop it on the fire and see what, get it done. You got to finesse it. It's got to come alive. But then the other key is, and this is where I love some of these rib places, is the hickory smoke. You gotta burn some hickory in your pit, and you gotta smoke the stuff. You gotta get a little bit of that flavor into the meat. Do I think the Astel and Kern is due for a refresh? No, they've got the SP2000. They just had the 2000M, the tube version of that, or whatever it is, 2000T. I don't know, whatever it is. So I don't, the way bigger than the Cayin N8 or the N62. The N8's here. I don't have the 2000, I have the 1000. Is this it? Oh no, it's over here. I have identical cases. Somebody buying the Cayin N8 will get one of these cases. Whoever decides to buy it. Yeah, it's a little bigger. And not that much. I mean, check that. I don't have my other camera up today. Sorry, guys. Here, let's try that. You see that? It's not a drastic size difference. And the N8 is definitely thicker. So, but I like the N8. I think the N8, I said this all the time. This is like the prettier bling bling thing because it's got the copper, and without this case, even without the case, which is kind of like an old, like a whiskey kind of smoked case because we're all doing smoked everything today. We're gonna smoke barbecue. I'm gonna smoke my DAP player. And no, that's not code for drugs, kids. I don't do drugs. I don't know why. I just don't. I should. I don't. I don't have time for it. God, the wind's going crazy outside right now. We got Santa Ana's blowing in LA. But look at this. Look at the copper. This thing is gorgeous. With carbon fiber and copper and a glass screen on the front. You got the Gorilla Glass in the front. This is the shit. And my complaint about the N8 is it's kind of like, I don't know what it is. It's the original N8. Now the N8 2 might be different, and I would love to get one of those. It's part of the reason I want to try and sell this thing. But big knobs. These are coated, but they're not solid. They're plastic that are like got the gold coating on them, so there's no weight to them, and they're fiddly too, and you'll knock them. And then why do they have the Chevy logo down here like this? Why is this a Cadillac? Is there any reason for that? But as far as actual functionality and the sound out of it, I love the sound out of this thing. I'm like addicted. I actually use this. And the other thing on this one is the battery. The battery on this one goes down pretty quick. Battery on this one goes a long time. Cayin much better on the battery thing. One of the things they do wrong with this though is anywhere you put it, it takes off. This thing is so slippery on the backside. So you need the case, but my slip case for the Cayin N8 is not good. Sorry. 225 for Hers. What were we talking about? 225. I forgot. Ryan Dietz says, gotta have the smoker if you have the time. Yeah, if you got the time, you got to do it. Got to use a smoker if you have the time. Yeah. I don't have a smoker. I do cook over coals, though. So what I do is I have like a propane tank. That lights the coals, and then the coals are off and running on their own. Turn the propane off so you don't get any of that gas flavor on the in your food, and you just get the charcoal. Oh, it's so good. So good. Stephen Keats says 2000T. Yeah, pretty good. Looks good to me. I haven't heard it though. Now Flim81 says he means the Daplets. They're huge. The Daplet. I gotta look. But what were we talking about? Daplets. Drawing a blank. Oh, Dablets. Daplets, like the tablets that are, yeah. I haven't played with them, but I have an iPad. Close enough. Mr. Number One is still drooling over our food discussion. Ryan Dietz says dry rub and applewood for pork is the best in his opinion. You're not going to go wrong with it, that's for sure. Like nobody has ever said, well, that's stupid dry. This would have been a perfect meal if not for the dry rub and applewood chips. Nobody ever said that. ML Jenkins, fantastic. Yeah, we see you're getting a lot of consensus here suddenly. Grill the barbecues on them hop tubes. Oh, that would be messy as hell. Most unfortunate, and my Western Electrics would not be happy. JTB likes the dry rub first, and then the last 20 minutes put some sauce on. Yeah, because you don't want, you know what it is, Mr. Number One, or JTB, you know what it is. You don't want that sauce burning, because if it burns, it's going to caramelize, and it's going to screw up the texture and the taste of your stuff. So you got to go slow, man. That's the whole point of slow cooking. You don't want to burn the stuff up. You don't want to treat the barbecue and the rub as fuel. It's not fuel. It's just flavor enhancing. Very important stuff we're talking about today. That's why this hangout is great, because we can start by talking about copyrights and music, and by the end of it, we're all like jonesing for some mainlining barbecue action. Like I'm gonna get the the baster and the barbecue sauce and just inject my veins with it right here. And we've got 2 agreements about the dry rub in the last 20 minutes with the sauce. So yeah, we're all on the same page here. There's garage barbecue. Happy hour hangout. A Humpday happy hour hangout at the barbecue pit. See, and that's why I need to get a Zoom going, so we can all like, you know, we could all like log in and go, you know, we could show off our barbecue. If I did this as a Zoom where everybody had their own camera active, that would be the best. Too much fun, yeah. And each of us just took it a little bit, a notch lower, deeper into the rabbit hole. Like, it just started with like, oh, I love barbecue. Yeah, barbecue's good. And by the end of it, we're like, oh no, you got to have the applewood. You got to have, you know, if you got time to smoke, you better be smoking, bro. And don't forget my dry rub. Yeah, I've got a place. The place in the neighborhood I go to is there's an AJ's barbecue. Very expensive, but it's very good. It's not the best I've ever had, but it's very good and maybe worth it. LA Bloodso's is a really good one. Bloodso's, BLUDSO. They have some good rib places. That's kind of a chainish place now in LA, but it's like boutique, you know, whatever. There's one right near the LAX airport. If you're ever in LAX and you got a layover, go cab it over to, you know, Uber over to Bloodso's. Bloodso's is not far from LAX. And what else we got? Yeah. Bloodso's is good. I'm trying to think. There was a place called The Pig. That was really good, but it's gone. In fact, that whole building got torn down about 6 years ago, I think. It's no longer on La Brea in LA. LA thing. And that's what I got. Wow, 6:17. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good happy hour hangout. Anybody else got anything before we go? Because I'm starting to think about wrapping it up maybe and going to cook some dinner. I need some dinner right now. Too much. Stockyard in Tennessee is the best barbecue you ever had. That's good. Mammal Jenkins, remember the pig? Yeah, it was good. It was a good place. A little place, but fun. Enjoyed it. They had pretty good food there. Not the best I've ever had, but pretty good. I'm trying to think. The place that all right now, and this is the best ribs I've ever had. The best ribs I ever had were a place. It was a place in Michigan City. Is it Michigan City, Indiana, or was it Benton Harbor? Benton Harbor, Michigan, which is right next to Michigan City, Indiana. Benton Harbor, Michigan, there was a place called Frosty's Ribs. Frosty would smoke his ribs for he did the whole aged ribs thing, so they were so good. And the thing, Nephilim, cheers. We're going to get off the air in just a second. You're not going to miss anything. I'm just going to tell you this one rib story. So Frosty had the ribs that just fall off the bone. And I think he would do the beef ribs too, because I remember his ribs being particularly large, and those have got to be beef ribs. I can't think of a pig that had, you know, that kind of thing. But the thing with Frosty's was he did this succotash. He did a Cajun, and they did a Cajun. It was a Cajun rub on the ribs. He did this Cajun style thing, and he had this succotash that was so hot, and it's just like, you know, it's peppers and rice and whatever, and it's all mixed together, and it was so hot that it was so delicious that you wanted to keep eating it, and you never want to stop, because the second you stop, all that heat catches up with you and your mouth is on fire for the rest of the day. but it was so good. That was amazing barbecue. It was Frosty's ribs. Frosty retired, and we wanted him to give us his recipe. We're like, Frosty, you're retiring. Why would you take that with you? And he's like, I don't give up my recipes, dudes. You know, unfortunate. That's my story. But if anybody remembers Frosty's ribs, they were not too far from Redemax. That was another place that we used to go. Redemax in Michigan, being from Chicago. Summer places. All right, folks. I'm going to start our little musical outro. And I want to thank you guys for stopping by the Director's Garage Live. If you haven't seen the current episode, go ahead and check it out. There's a new episode. I dropped it this morning. I was worried with YouTube that, like, if I drop a new episode, which is like the whole point is the major episodes, these are live streams or just connections. The main episodes are what I do, right? I was worried that if I put a live stream up, like right afterwards, like nobody's going to see that I dropped a new official episode. I don't know. It was crazy. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up for today. I want to thank you guys for stopping by the Director's Garage Happy Hour Hangout. Y'all are welcome. Y'all are the best. Great community here, and I love the barbecue talk. I love the fact that we can go anywhere on this show. And everybody's like down with it. We're all like, everybody's throwing in like their 2 cents. Like the topic can be beer, and everybody's like, oh, you know, you got to have a stout. Oh, you got to try the pale ale. You got to try the, you know, whatever it is. Like we're all like in it, and I love that. And if it's audio, it's something else. Quick audio question: how heavy are the Utopias relative to the Arias and the clear MGs? I don't know about the clear MGs. I can tell you to the Arias, the Focal Utopia is a little bit heavier. That helps. All right. Thank you guys for stopping by today. Be safe. Have a great rest of your week. I'm going to get to start writing the next episode 106 of the Director's Garage, and we'll get that shot and out to you. And lots of surprises coming in the weeks ahead. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't subscribed. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week, and great to be here. Just great to hang out with you guys. You guys are the best. I really enjoy this time with you guys. So cheers, everyone. We'll see you.